All right. So if you're interested in knowing more about this, what I have told you, there is some fantastic, there's an institute called the Concept Therapy Institute. It's in San Antonio, Texas, and it is on Borneo Stage Road, Boerne Stage Road in San Antonio. And that is where you can get this information I went over. And so what happened is Dr. Fleet went out with this idea of helping people with the body and the mind and also the soul, and also teaching about suggestive therapy, that what a doctor says is as therapeutic as what they give them physically, and helping people make better suggestions. And he also had a basically a clarity, a moment of about a week or two where he was inundated, as he said it, filled with spirit. And he wrote down, I don't know, on the walls, on the floor, on the bed, on everything he could, this information. It was just starting to he just became this purge. And from those writings and that time he spent in that cottage, he kind of made a move into concept therapy instead of being a chiropractor, and teaching people more about this triune being, this evolution of how the consciousness evolved through the organization, mineral and through attraction and organization and adaptation and locomotion, and then into human reason, and then these factors of the personality, which are way too deep to go into here, but basically how it is you accept beliefs and concepts and ideas, and the ones that you have that are good, you want to keep them. But there's some in there that are bad, because a thought can either be negative or positive. It's really hard to have it in the middle until you spiritually evolve a little bit more, get on the path a little farther, where you don't see things as good or bad. It just is. And then what he did was he made it into a chiropractic technique where each vertebra from the top of your neck, the occiput to C1, 7 cervical vertebrae, 12 thoracic, 6 lumbar, 5 lumbar. I'm doing too much laser. And then from each one of those areas, because remember, he's a chiropractor, and this is his bodily treatment. So the body analysis of how he analyzes people's spinal columns for subluxation, which is misalignment, is used by palpating back behind the neck here. It's called the nuchal line, the line of nuchal, the Nuki line. And there's 6 zones, glandular, eliminative, neuro, muscular, digestive, and circulatory. Yes, I hurt my finger. And what he found is that you have these taut fibers. So from the external occipital protuberance right here is zone 1, palpated all the way to this is the mastoid process. I did take anatomy. I did. Mastoid process, external, and then these zones. So each one of them corresponds to a system. So if you had a zone 1 taut fiber, that would be a C1 subluxation, and it's the glandular system. If it showed on an x-ray and to be out of alignment, and since glandular system controls a lot of things, he would adjust that first. And the technique doesn't matter as long as you correct the alignment. And then what he would do is he had a book of zone slips. So each zone, glandular, eliminative, neuro, muscular, digestive, and circulatory, has a slip that you give to the patient after the adjustment, because he was talking too much. You had to figure out a way of giving the self-suggestion or the suggestion, and then allowing it to go into the auto-suggestion, so the patient would experience it, express it. And he did that with these little zone slips. So he adjusted the glandular, and you get the slip, and you take it home and you read it, and it says, as a result of this adjustment, your glandular zone has been adjusted. This should free up sinus, mucus, areas with your glands, maybe salivary, whatever is part of that. did you notice any change? Yes or no? And some people notice change. Some would say no. And then he would come in the next day. He would palpate for those zones. If the glandular zone was still out, he would do that same process again, give him the adjustment and that zone slip of what did you experience? And eventually, some will, they won't, some won't. It didn't help. Others, I'm noticing some changes, doc. They don't want to write no all the time. They'll start putting yes because it is getting a little better. Look, I can walk on it now. It was before. It was, look, it's. I can put some weight on it, so it's getting better. Whereas before it was, well, it's not gone. It was an amazingly effective tool at bringing a person through their responsibility to create health and wellness within themselves, which is where it all comes from. I don't own that. Right? If I did, I'd sell it. But we don't. So, and then as you would go through it, maybe they had a problem with digestive tract, maybe they had a problem with constipation, stomach problems, foot pain. He can relate it to the muscular system, the circulatory system, and to give these zone slips out. And that is the zone therapy technique in a nutshell. You palpate the zone, you identify one of the systems, you look to the vertebra that associated with that system, it's in a chart, you make that adjustment, you restore that nerve supply, you give the client the suggestion with a zone slip, and then you repeat until the person is responding. And there's inner clean diets, and there's things that he did where it was fruit and vegetable cleansing, because toxins are a big issue for a lot of us. And so he did a lot of inner clean diets. He also recommended balanced meals. There's a lot of mistaken problems with healthcare because people overdo things. So, he wrote a book on the 4 laws of health called The Rays of the Dawn. And the first one is the law of nutrition. You got to have sound nutrition. You cannot have health if your nutrition is terrible. Trust me. You might have a day or two or a week or a month or maybe a year, but you have developed a sickness, you develop something inside, and you're going to deal with it later on. Right? Be good to your colon, it'll be good to you. So nutrition is really important, and he went over that a lot. The other one would be that he called it the law of movement. He didn't say exercise. Exercise means, oh my God, who wants to exercise? But you got to move. You got to move your body every day, every way, every joint, every day, every way. Hands, feet, toes, ears, mouth, eyes, jaw, feet, toes, every day, several times a day. Because if you don't, nature will eliminate you because you're not moving. So there's food and there's nutrition and there's movement. And then there's something called the law of internal and external sanitation. Now, he was from the 30s. We don't use the word sanitation anymore, but it's basically being clean on the inside as much as the outside. And that would be with poisons and toxins. And that's where the inner clean diet would come in, and also avoiding poisons and toxins in your environment, both on your body and what you're putting into your body. Critically important. And then the 4th law is that of rest and recuperation. You got a human, this body is exerting energy, we're burning calories, and it has to rest. It has to have a time where it recharges, it regenerates, it gets rid of toxins, it absorbs nutrients. There's a whole bunch, it repairs tissue, certain systems shut down so other systems can repair. And this is part of the rest and recuperation cycle. And people thwart and avoid rest and recuperation because of work, because of fear, because they have to work, whatever their reasoning behind it is, they don't take enough time. Then there's others that take too much time. And so rest and recuperate, get enough sleep, and then have things. And Dr. Fleet's work is a concept therapy technique, and there's classes for it. If you're a chiropractor and you've listened to this and stumbled onto this, I've been in practice 33 years. My whole family practiced with the concept therapy technique, not perfectly, but we use all of the mind and the soul and the slips and all the belief, the main essence. But whether I push on the sacrum or use an activator is moot. It's the energy behind it. It's a switch, and the power behind it is consistent. And it's called Principles in Practice. It's a 3-day seminar at the Ranch Institute. And there's chiropractors that are teachers like me that will teach it. And there's also a bunch of audios you can get. I don't think you have to have taken the class to buy the audios. They have a whole bunch of explaining what concept therapy is and about the zones and about Fleet's philosophy. But if you really want to get the best information, come in and attend a concept therapy class. So my first concept therapy class was when I was like 12 or 13 years old, and my mom bribed me with an O'Brien water ski. I was not going to go and sit in this classroom Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and listen to some guy drool on and on and on about spirituality and on. I wasn't going to do it. And my mom, she knew how to get me, and she got me a beautiful green O'Brien competitor water ski. And that was what brought me to my first concept therapy class. And, I went to a lot of classes, supported my parents for many, many years, taught a few classes. I only taught one concept therapy class, actually. And, but I've been involved in it my whole life. And of my four brothers and sisters and my family, we've all achieved all of the work in concept therapy, from concept therapy, which is the beginner's weekend class, where you will learn about the evolution of consciousness, the formation of the electron and the mineral, that whole scenario. You're going to learn about the human body, the mind, and the spiritual nature, and the different parts of those, how the mind accepts the concept, how it accepts the idea, and the process that has to happen for it to be implanted within the subconscious. And when it's in the subconscious, it becomes an automatic program. And this is how your body takes, and it's very important to understand that, the way the brain works. Some people call it the stick man. There's the consciousness up here in the head. You got the ideas. And then if it's something that you want, the trapdoor opens, it goes down and it lodges in the subconscious. And once it's in the subconscious, the trapdoor closes again. And that concept is implanted in there. And buddy, it works regardless if you want it to work or not. You have to remove it with another idea. Otherwise, it's a self-automating program. And it might be something like, if you go out of the shower with your feet wet, you're going to get a cold. You'll die of a death cold. Wow. Who told you that? Oh, my mom told me. Right. And I've been out. I got sick. Seems like I had the worst cold I ever had because I got out of the shower. That's how easy you can put those things in there. Right. And it's important that we can, because we need to be able to, a lot of things have to be automatic. You drive your car automatically, you push your gas pedal, you scratch yourself. There's so much of your body that has to be automatic. If you had to think of everything, you couldn't survive. So this trap door mechanism, this stick, they call it the stick man, because there's the conscious, the subconscious, and the body. Looks like a stick man. That is one of the basics of how we accept ideas and how they lodge. Either we throw them away as irrelevant and they don't go into the subconscious, or we agree and it goes in. And there's another way you can make them go in, through fascination. Yep. Called hypnosis. That's how they implant suggestions into subconscious, is with hypnosis. And it's called fascination. And believe me when I tell you, when you're looking at a TV and they're showing you images of blood and gore, and they have authority, and all the shows are showing you the same thing, you are as fascinated as someone at a hypnosis show. And your mind is open. That little psychic sensor which tells you don't accept that, it kind of moves out of the way. And that little trap door opens up, and that suggestion goes down into the subconscious. The suggestion they want you to own, such as, if you don't wear your mask, you're gonna die. Who wears a mask in a car by themselves? Who are they protecting? What are they protecting? Are they even protecting anything? Those are, where did they get that idea? Fauci, there's the ultimate fascination guy. Oh my God. He can't get you with agreement. That's another really interesting thing. When they're trying to fascinate you and not go into agreement, that should be a real warning that they're trying to pull something over on you. Right? Because if I believe, see, I've been in CT a long time, concept therapy, and my success is in my ability to gather an agreement with you that this is a good idea, whatever it is I'm trying to teach or sell, like my services. And I do it with an agreement because I'm better at that than fascination. I'm not good at creating a big fake doorway or big building with big glass walls and everybody's got gowns on and all the girls are masked up. So that's fascination. That's like, you better sit down and do what they're telling you to do. That's how they do that. I build it on agreement. It's much better for me to do that. So again, this brings back to the concept therapy class that I went to. So the concept therapy class, it's held at the ranch. They do it Zoom. I don't suggest it. I fall asleep in Zoom unless it's me talking, and I like to watch. And you can do it on Zoom. You can do it, but you really want to come to the class. And there's a few teachers. There's only 3 teams right now teaching it. There used to be 100 back in the 70s and 80s. That's how much it's kind of waned away. But we're bringing it back. I'm on the board over there. On the chiropractic part of the board for concept therapy, not the chiropractic board. No state affiliation here. And we're really wanting to bring back chiropractors that are looking to get better results, want to have more success in their life, be able to make more money, and be able to help their family and their patients. And nothing comes close to what concept therapy offers you yourself as a doctor, because the results are like, oh my God, you don't have any more problems. It helps your patients so much because they're getting results where they didn't before from a suggestion that they didn't understand was a button, but you knew it because you studied this stuff. So I can see the buttons right away. I can see what's bothering them because I've trained in it. So along with the adjustment, I better handle that button, right? And once you see that and your family can benefit from it, then you can move into the higher work. After concept therapy, there's what they call phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, 6, and 7. The first 3 phases are considered just concept therapy, and anybody can take them in any order. Concept therapy, phase 1, 2, and 3, as far as I know. When you get into the higher work, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then cosmic principles, basic principles, and psychiatric principles, and another class, suggestive therapy. Those are all of the higher work. These are weekend classes. This could take you several years to accomplish all this work. I've been doing it. I'm 61, since I was since I got that ski. And I can't say enough for the work. It is strong enough. It has enough depth and meaning that if you're somebody who wants to drink deeply from the fountain, you will love concept therapy. It is a deep well of incredible information, idea, thought. It is the source. Now, some of you will come and take a sip and gargle and spit it out. A lot of you. I've seen people come into concept therapy, walk in, they didn't make it to the end of the day. They walked out. Oh, tell me everything's my fault. I'm not going to stay for that. Oh, he mentioned God. Oh my God, it's not a church. Why do you mention? It's pretty funny to watch it because you have these concepts. It's not for everybody, but if you're someone who wants to drink deep from the fountain of youth, of health and wealth and knowledge, and be fantastic as a dad and a businessman, you need to understand the laws of life. And that is what concept therapy will teach you. How the power that created you and me in the world and everything we know and see as far as we know, how it expresses through matter. There's laws and rules involved with it. It's not by chance. It's not by fate. It's not a lucky draw. It is law. Just like electricity has a law. I'm using electricity right now to talk to you, to do this recording. And it is a law. I didn't figure out the laws. Somebody did. And I'm enjoying the use of it because I can see it. But if I had to create it and I touched the wrong wire at the wrong point, it will burn me and hurt me. And it has no personality. It didn't do that because it didn't like me. It did it because I stuck the fork into the plug socket, not knowing the law of electricity. And it, oh God, that sucks. Who did that? The government? Was that Russia? Did they shock me? I'm kidding. But so when you violate the laws of this power that runs the universe, it will initiate its whatever has to happen is that breaking of that law. It's immutable. You can't violate it. These aren't man-made laws. These are natural laws. One of them is exercise, nutrition, movement. Like I said, these aren't up for argument. You got to do these. I mean, if you want to live, not be in a box somewhere. So that's what's so amazing to me about the concept therapy work. It really has that. And I'll leave it at that. If you want to reach out to me, my office line is 772-223-5885. Again, the easiest way to find me is my name. It's Dr. Tred, Tred. Very unusual. Dr. Tred chiropractor, Dr. Tred laser, Dr. Tred health, Dr. Tred doctor. There's not a lot of Dr. Treds out there. And you'll see all my stuff on Google and on the websites. And please come to a concept therapy class. We have them in San Antonio, Texas, at the San Antonio Ranch. And we have cottages there. We have places you can stay, no TVs or anything, so you can meditate and go over the coursework. A lot of times we have breakfast and lunch and dinner as a group if you want to. Or you could go walk the ranch in San Antonio. It's it's like 300 acres, but some of it is privately owned, but you still have the right to walk around and just enjoy it. And you'll see the history of Fleet and all the people that came before you. It's quite amazing. All right. With that, I'm going to say bye-bye. Thank you so much.